So here we are, yet again, at the end of another year, somehow. Gonna write down all the hours and figure out how many hours we put on the equipment this year. This is the 5th year in a row, I think, that we've done this. So I got 17, 18, 19, and 20s total ready to go. And then what the hours were last year, this year, subtract it and write it here, and we'll figure this all out. So obviously the truck, this is the first full year we had that. Combine, this is the first year I've actually wrote the hours down. So you can see the X's here. 4960, obviously the first year we had that. And yeah, so instead of calling them little 40 and little 50, I just did the 1980, 4440, the 82, 83, 85. So if anybody actually remembers or knows what's which, the older tractor, I usually call the small one. The bigger one, I call the bigger one. Or the older one, I call the bigger one. Because on both tractors, we think the later model one has more power. That's the only reason we call them little or big. But for here, we're going to call them the 80, 82, 83, and 85. So I guess we might as well start with 83 4450. It's on the snow blade. We just pushed snow the other day. It's still dirty from hauling manure. Too cold to pressure wash. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But hop in here and get these hours, I guess. First one. Now, here we go again. 50 series tacks are terrible. So if you can't read it, just pop this off. Then you can wipe the dust off here. And then you can maybe read it again. It says 2217 right there. So 12,017 hours. So next we got the 72 3020. It's the only 3020 we got. It's basically just a tour tractor. I don't think it's done any field work in the last couple of years. Basically it runs feed grinder, and in the summertime sometimes it runs the TMR mixer. Not as much this summer since we got 6 tractors and all. It's basically back stuff into the shed and chores. It don't do any field work anymore. They could use that panel back on here. We have it. They just fall off, you know, like this one. They fall off. But other than that and the seat, it really ain't that bad of condition here. But good old 3020. There we go, got it to focus there. So we're at 2523. This tractor had a tack replaced right at close to 10,000 hours. So we just call it 12,000 hours. It did have an overhaul about that time. So 2523, we'll write that down. Next we got the 1982 4440 here. Just used it the other day to spread manure, you seen that. So we'll hop up in here. Check the hours. It's gonna be 40 years old here soon. 1870 right there. Just racking up the hours. Almost 12,000. Got this tractor at like 7,800 or 7,700 hours. So get the door shut here. Here's the 9,500. Like a damn puzzle to figure out how to get in here. So all the equipment's parked on the other side, real close. This is the first time I actually wrote the hours down last year. See how the hell to get through here. So we'll figure it out here. I believe the battery is connected. Dad put it in the shed, but we put a battery maintainer on the battery. That helps get another year out of the battery. That's about it. But combine batteries, at least for us, 3 years you're doing good. So let's try this out here. We do have battery here. Let's see, engine hours of that. 5690. I don't write down separator, but there's Nothing's low houred here. 5690 in the old 9500. Have more acres to run through next year, 20 more acres, but yeah, oh, I forgot about that. Long story with a skid loader and a hay bale. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. On a side note, look at this Alice Chalmers barrel. Just been sitting here in the shed forever. Well, we're done back here. Head up to the other machine shed and get the rest of them. Here's the 1980 4440 here. The paper don't blow away. It's been on TMR duty most of the year, except planting time, maybe a little bit in the summer. But we'll write her down anyway. We're at 11:35. I'm just going to forget the decimal point here. That just confuses everything. Whatever it reads, it reads. So take that number, 9265. That's how many hours this tractor has. Tack's been replaced, obviously. Hate that door. Push button doors were way better than this style door. They fixed that on the 82 4440s. Well, here's the 4960 here. We got blankets over the hood because birds like to shit on it. And it's right by the feed pile, which is pretty damn dusty here. So, yeah. Did get this tractor turned up a couple weeks ago. 240 now. $79.09. Wow. Almost 8,000 hours already. Here's the 85 4450 here. Back to the 50 series tacks. This one's worse to read than the other one. I say it every year, but what were they thinking? Like, how am I supposed to read that? 7614. That's 17,000 hours. Damn. Might seem like a lot of hours, but the transmission's been completely rebuilt and it's had an overhaul, so it's basically good to go. Now we're left with the skid loaders. This one don't really get used too much in the wintertime. We used it a couple days ago, yesterday, and then 3 days before that. But when you're mixing feed, when it's freaking 10 degrees out, it's nice to have a cab. So that's where this one goes in. In the summertime, that one mixes feed all summer. But here we are, 5222. That was the SR200. Now we're at the 1845C. This one's had a tack replaced in it too. That right there is supposed to say 3710, but the new tack has 1561. Ever since we got this skid loader, we use this one a lot less. But before we had this one, we had an 1840, and that really didn't get used much because it's just so small. But that's a pretty decent skid loader. Now we're at the old farm truck, the 3500 Cummins. Get how many miles we got in this thing. Let's see here. 265, 440. So I got everything added up here. I guess nothing too surprising. Obviously, when you add another tractor, you're going to put less hours on the other ones. So overall, I think every tractor has less hours this year compared to last year. Not so much the skid loaders, but We only put 124 hours on the 3020. Like I said, it didn't really. In the past, it usually runs the TMR mixer all spring, summer, and part of fall. This year, it really didn't, so that kind of reflects that. So the 80-44-40, we didn't spray any corn with it this year. We always used to spray corn with it, so that's why it's at 281. Last year was at 310, and then so on. So the 82-44-40, I don't know. It just used it less, I guess. What, 30 hours? That's not huge. 296 here to 326 last year. What's next here? The 83-44-50. 297 compared to 346, 349. So part of the reason is here, the corn really did not yield that great this year. Like, we had to haul way less corn than usual. Like, it was not, I'll put it this way, the corn was not good this year. Not very good. So, we lost some hours hauling corn. We didn't lose no 50 hours here, but like I said, when you get another big horse, you're going to be using that one less. Now this one, this is kind of crazy. The 85-50, which is the bigger one. We did all the tillage with this tractor and hydrous, chisel plowing, fill cultivating. It basically did very little of that this year. We went from 360 to 234. Like, this tractor got used less than all of these. But if you look in these years, it got used the most almost every year. So, like, we use that tractor way less. Way less. That's kind of surprising. But we still use it 234 hours. I mean, it does have 17,600, so maybe it needs to slow down a little bit, because these hours are getting tacked on pretty quick that they were. But, yeah, so 4960 first year we used that 322, the most out of anybody, not surprised. Still, compared to 360, it ain't nothing. Tractor did tillage, and then it was welded on the sprayer all summer. From May to September, it was hooked onto the sprayer here. 1845C, 208 more than last year, but this year, these years we had the 1840. You can see how much more we used it. SR 200 skid loader, 314. This year was the year we bought it, so we only had half a year on it or whatever, but both skid loaders we used a lot. Truck we only put 12,986 miles on. So that ain't really that bad. Combine, first year I actually wrote it down. 154 hours right there. So it don't look like much, but if you add the hours this year and then this year, I did not add the combine here because that would skew the numbers. We still had more hours operating here. What, 51 hours, I mean, more. But when you get another tractor, you can kind of spread the hours. The ideal thing would be to have every tractor have the exact same amount of hours on it, so they all get wore out evenly. 30-20 would be pretty hard to do, but these ones, I mean, they're all decently close. They're not super low, but yeah, there it is, another year gone. Well, I'll see this, I'm sure we'll be doing this video again next year here. So, year number 6 that'd be freaking crazy already.